जयपुर वाया कोटा
कृपया ध्यान आपो अहमदाबाद
दिल्ली में आपका स्वागत
Lucknow Junction.
ನಿಲ್ದಾಣದ ಕಡೆಗೆ ಹೊರಟಿರುವರೆ
Hyderabad Punjab Express পরবর্তী স্টেশন নেতাজি ভবন कृपया ध्यान दियो
Rahul नाम तो सुना होगा. Finally comes to the party. 18 ball 36. He helps Gujarat get that very nervy win by 3 wickets, and we saw how much it meant to Rahul Tewatia. Punjab once again taking it to the last over. This one not such a thriller, but it still goes to the last over. Shubman Gill was looking good, but he fell for 35. Rahul Tewatia 36 not out. Sai Sudarshan 31. Harshal Patel picking up 3 wickets, Livingston picking up 2 and Arshdeep 1. We're back at Cricbuzz Live. I'm Saiyami and I have a 2-time champion Simon Doull and Joy Bhattacharjya with me. Simon. Woo.
Good day.
Incredible. It's been a good day for cricket and for you.
Yes, a good day. 50% today, so that should just climb up that leaderboard just a little bit, maybe threaten your position a touch, but we'll get to that later on.
We'll get to that.
Tewatia. Just doing what Tewatia does, finishing games off.
Every
As
time
you said, not an overly exciting game, but GT coming off the back of what they had in the last game, 2 points was the key, and they got the job done.
And also, like you said, coming off the last game, because you're always a little nervous when those wickets start falling. I was asking Simon, do you see a collapse coming? But thankfully, Rahul Tewatia held his nerve.
He held his nerve. I think he played beautifully towards the end. He dominated the strike. And till the 13th over, they didn't hit their first 6. So, till for the first 10 overs, they didn't have a single over scoring over 10 and over. So I think what they'd managed to do and what Tewatia has done so successfully for them, and we keep doubting it, that maybe he's batting too late. But every year he manages to finish 2 to 3 games for them, get them across the line. He's done it again. I have only one theory, that if I was tomorrow to be given an IPL franchise, the one thing I'd do is make sure they don't wear red. Because that seems to be the common factor right
That's
now.
the problem.
I've been thinking about it. That's the common factor.
Well,
don't wear red.
We'll get to the red of the previous later, but clearly the green didn't work today for the Reds. We'll get to that later. But Simon, you think a more confident team probably would have gone for the net run rate and just kind of gone a little more attacking? We knew 143 is going to be that tricky chase, but this was a little too close to comfort.
Yeah, a little bit mixed in that one, because I think it was a tough surface. I don't think it was the easiest batting pitch. And, Punjab will be kicking themselves now that they didn't assess those conditions better earlier and put 165, 170 on the board. Because if they had have, the way that it played out, it would have been more than competitive.
Also, if they had done it properly and didn't have to get in Harpreet Bhatia, they could have got Chahal bowling.
Chahal as well, yeah, exactly. So, a couple of things that just did not work out well for them. So, first and foremost, you worry about the 2 points. If you're in a position probably 2 or 3 down with 5 overs to go, then you can look at your net run rate a little bit more. But they were just starting to lose wickets at the wrong times all the time through that chase. So I think first and foremost, it would have been just about those 2 points.
We'll have a look at the batting card, because like I said, Shubman Gill was looking very good, and then he went to up the run rate and got out for 35. He'll really be kicking himself. But again, that middle order with Omar Zai and David Miller not kind of performing. Ridhiman Shah getting 13 and then not really converting it to anything at all. It was Rahul Tewatia who came to the rescue, because again, Rashid, Shahrukh not really finishing it off for Gujarat.
Yeah, I think Rahul Tewatia is the only one who's been giving them consistent run, other than Shubman and Sudarshan up top. And they will need more contributions. Today they got across the line, which is a good thing for them. But they need more, and especially Miller's hurting them. Miller not being in form is really hurting them. Today, 142 total, they didn't require his services. But he needs to come to form. They're now in the middle class of the IPL, and now they need for him to fire to take it to the next level.
But it's not looking like they're a very confident team right now, and they need that confidence under the belt. Even these 2 points, they'll be happy they've got it, but I don't think they'll be going to sleep with confidence.
Yeah, and I think, wins will give you a little bit of confidence. Getting across the line after a poor performance the previous game, it'll give them a little bit of confidence, but there's concerns, there's cracks appearing in that batting lineup in particular. I mean, you know, the two spinners were brilliant. The three spinners,
Yes.
sorry, were brilliant for them tonight. So there's not a huge amount of issues at times with the ball, but they've just got no one really scoring runs apart from Shubman. You know, we highlighted that earlier, and their top order woes. Saha's badly out of nick at the moment, and you know, last year you think about, even if he was only getting 20, 25, he was doing it off 10 balls.
Yes.
11, 12 balls. He wasn't getting 13 off 10, off 11. He wasn't eating up deliveries in that power play, which is quite a crucial time. So, you know, they've tried a couple of different things. It just hasn't worked for them. And that top 5, 6 outside of Shubman will be a real concern still, I think, for them. So that's all they need to worry about, is how do they get runs out of their top order? Because if they put a total on the board, their spinners can really come into play, or the spinners can choke sides early on, but then they've got to chase scores.
Joyda, do you think there's too much pressure on Shubman because there's no one really performing? And even today, we see that he's getting off to a start, but he's not really had that big season which Shubman has had earlier.
Yeah, this is not an 890-run season. He started off better. He's tailing off a bit, but it's also that point is that he can't take risks because he doesn't feel he's got enough depth in his order. And that's the problem, that whenever you're looking down that order, it's happened to, you know, Shikhar Dhawan in previous seasons. Yeah. Once a captain starts worrying about, you know, where the rest of the batting is going to come from, then he cannot play with the kind of freedom. And I think that's what they used to be. This team used to be ruthless about finishing. You know, Tewatia was a great finisher. Miller was a great finisher. Abhinav Manor, they would finish in style. Now, I mean, Tewatia is the only one who's held that form, and I think he's going to be vital for them moving forward. But they need a couple more batsmen to fire. There's just too many holes in that batting. Because
we spoke about this in the pre-match, I think, is that besides Hardik, the batting is pretty much the same. So why is there such a big difference?
Yeah, that's the thing, isn't it? And you're not getting off to those starts. So the confidence is not there from the top order. And when you lose wickets early, or you're not up with the run rate, or you're not you don't feel like you're scoring fast enough, then the onus comes onto someone. And that was the problem tonight. Sai Sudarshan was pedestrian, so Shubman felt he had to be a little bit more aggressive. And I mean, Livingston bowled beautifully. To be fair to him, I mean, 2 wickets for 19, I think it was. He bowled really nicely and got one to loop a little bit and turn away from Shubman, just got the bottom of the bat. So there was some good bowling in and amongst it from Punjab, but there was never enough runs to really threaten them. And so GT can they're papering over the cracks with some of these wins because they're getting the job done, but it's just doesn't look convincing. And I think that's what Joy was just saying. You know, they would smash totals. They would dominate at the back end and get the job done easily. But they're just not looking convincing for mine.
We'll have a look at Punjab's bowling. Like you said, there was some good spells. Livingston was looking good today. They couldn't get in their sub bowler because, of course, they used him as a bat. Livingston getting 2 wickets in his 4 overs. Rabada a little expensive with 10 runs per over, no wicket there. Harshal Patel getting 3 in his 3 overs. But Joyda, like Simon was saying, the bowling has gotten them to the last over but couldn't get them past the finish line. I think this is the 5th game in Mulan, and they've just won 1.
Absolutely. I think Livingston gave them a lot more than they would normally expect of him. So he's bowled well today. Harpreet again bowled well. But see, if you're going to bowl a bowler like Harpreet in the 18th, 19th overs, that is a risk. Because the chances are that if you're a spinner, and there's some spinners who can do it. I mean, we've seen Chahal, but you need to be incredibly skilled to bowl in those areas, you know. And Narine. And Harpreet is a good bowler, but there was always a chance that somebody would collar him and he'd be taken. And that's exactly what happened. And they went after him and went after Rabada. So I think that is a problem, that Harpreet will bowl well, but any spinner who's expected to bowl in the 18th, 19th over, you know, there are very few spinners who can bowl in that period. Arshdeep was remaining, you know, he had an over remaining. They could have bought him back earlier. They still had a couple of overs. They had options. But I think at that point in time, they thought spin was the best option possible. The problem was the spinners could help bring the game competitive, but sometimes you needed probably the fast bowlers to finish it off for you.
You know, Simon, this wasn't like the closest game. It did go into the last over, but Punjab has been having such thrillers which are just not converting and they're not going across the winning side. What do you think is going wrong? Is it a mindset? Is it just crumbling under pressure? What is it?
Again, I don't think they assessed the conditions very well tonight at all. It doesn't, on paper, it doesn't look an overly strong batting unit. And, you know, we talked a little bit earlier about what Ashutosh and Shashank have done it in different games. You can't be expecting them to do it every game. And at the moment they are relying so heavily on them to get runs or get them out of trouble because the top order are just not getting the job done. Shikhar being injured, Johnny Bairstow out of form being dropped, Sam Curran going to the top, Jitesh horribly out of form. There's far too many concerns in that lineup. And as we talked about prior to the game, when you're the side that's losing close games all the time, you don't know how to win.
Yes.
And GT managed to have a shocker last game, but bounce back to getting a win. So sometimes that's easier. And that's what we talked about. It's kind of easy to just wipe the really bad performance, and you still hang on to those ones. You keep thinking, what if? In all of those games that have gone down to the last over, you keep thinking, what if? And you just don't know how to get across the line. It was a great fight. I thought the bowlers did a brilliant job. Under par score, probably not many under par, 20, 25 under par, but I think the bowlers did an actually terrific job as far as Punjab are concerned. So I got it's hard to pick holes in a bowling attack tonight trying to defend 142. Tonight's game is down to the batters not assessing the conditions and not playing according to the conditions, and just throttle back a little bit. Bring just assess the target. When you've got good batters out there, assess the conditions. Say, listen, boys, everyone that comes out to bat, we might only need 165, 170 tonight. Let's not be going too hard looking for 200 because we might get ourselves in trouble, and that's exactly what happened.
Well, according to Simon, the batters have failed them today. But Joyda, do you think Harshal's that positive takeaway for Punjab today?
I think Harshal's a positive takeaway. Livingston's bowling would have encouraged them that he can. And because, as we know, the pitches are going to go in that direction now as the summer wears on. But they need a lot more. I mean, they don't need one batter to come back to form. They need 3-4 batters. If you look at other sides around, if you look at, say, somebody like a KKR, you'll see all the batters have got one innings under their belt. Almost all batters have got. You look at this side, you've got to pick out the number who have got done anything of note. And that's really scary for you. Nobody's getting runs. Shikhar is not there. And it's a shambles. The batting is a shambles right now.
But again, you spoke about Livingston, and Livingston, the bowler, we could see from his reactions what it meant to him. It almost felt like he's going to pop away in with his celebration.
Well, when you're not scoring runs, you want to be contributing in some way, shape or form. And so him putting a performance in with the ball, you hope will give him a little bit of confidence going to the next game, even with the bat. Because when you have contributed, if you're not doing anything, you feel like you're under pressure and under the pump. So hopefully that performance with the ball tonight might give him a little bit of confidence. But again, the runs are the concern for him. The bowling's a bonus. For Liam Livingstone in Punjab, the bowling is a bonus. In conditions like this, as the tournament wears on, he becomes more effective, yes, but they need him to score runs. That's his job.
So Gujarat have picked up those 2 crucial points. Let's have a look at the points table. Like Joyda said, they've gone into the middle class of the points table. 2 points is 2 points, Joyda. So they will take this and go home and sleep well tonight.
Yeah. This is a 2 BHK. They've got a nice 2 BHK out there. Middle class out there. They got the chartered bus. But yeah, they've not yet bought the car. Lot to do still. But I think the important thing is at this stage in the tournament, given the kind of losses they had last year in terms of personal from where they had last year, I think they've done well to stay in contention. 4-4 means you're in contention, you're up there, because you're looking down at the bottom and you have to tell yourself that 2 teams look as if they're out of contention. At this point, Punjab and Bangalore have mountains to climb which are almost impossible. So if you take those 2 out, I mean, then you're looking at, you've survived a sort of a cut almost.
Yeah.
And you're there, you're in contention, you're not too far behind the leaders, you're just, 10 points is not that far away, so you're there. And that's really important. Sometimes, you just need to survive, and then a couple of good performances, things can change very fast.
True. Well, Gujarat managed to keep their cool, and it was a tricky chase, like we said. Let's have a look at the carrier room air conditioner coolest moment of the match. Before we go to all the people who have written to us on X, I will come to both Joyda and Simon for you all. The coolest moment from the match.
Just the Iceman and Rahul Tewatia. I think we think about it, and I look at him time and time again, and I think, does he look like he's going to get the job done? Does he look like he's going to finish a game off? And he does. And he does it more often than not. And he does it more often when people think he can't or isn't going to. So just the cool nature of Rahul Tewatia to finish off that game and get his team, see his team across the line. That was the sort of the cool moments for me.
I like how Simon's gone with a batter this time.
No, I'll go with Tewatia as well. Yes. Because if you see what was, in effect, middle table, mediocre match. I mean, not great bowling, not great batting. I mean, the one performance that stood out was the performance that actually finished the match.
Yes.
Everybody else was hemming and hawing, but nobody was finishing the match. And Tewatia caught the match by the scruff of his neck and finished it off. And I think for me also, he was the coolest moment of the match.
All right, both for Joyda and Simon, it was Rahul Tewatia. Let's have a look at what you all have written in. Let's have a look at the first tweet if we can. This is Taha Abbas. He says, Sai Kishore bowling for me was the coolest moment. I agree there with Taha. Let's have a look at who's next. Ansh Sharma says, Gill bowling seamers up front and using spinners at the death. A great sign of a thinking captain. It's his career coolest moment. Vignesh says, for a change this season, watching a low-scoring T20 thriller.
I like that, Vignesh. Yeah, very well done.
Well done, Vignesh. The bowler in the house could not contain his happiness with that. A low-scoring T20 thriller. Wouldn't really call this a thriller, but a low-scoring game.
Sometimes low-scoring games can be just as exciting. That one wasn't probably exciting, but yeah, I don't mind that. We sort of see the batters dominating. Nice to see the bowlers in amongst it.
Vignesh, Simon agrees with you. So these were our carrier room air conditioner coolest moment of the match. We now need to talk about something which we couldn't keep our cool. It was a game where there was super tense atmosphere in our Cricbuzz studio because we had on the right in the red and on the left in the purple, and we had Simon and Joyda calming both these fans. We'll have a look at what happened in this match because we thought it's going to go to a super over. It didn't. KKR won by 1 run. And it was, well, a nerve-wracking match for that one. Will Jacks getting 55, Rajat Patidar 52. DK unfortunately got out on 25. Andre Russ got 3. Harsh Rana got 2. And Sunil Narine got 2. But Joyda, you know, what does one say? We know we have to give you credit all the time because it is his presence during a KKR match that they win most of the times. But this game, did KKR win or did RCB lose?
I think KKR was winning and went very close to losing it. That last Stark over has to be one of the disastrous overs ever seen. But I think what happened in this match was, it was what I liked is it was a sine curve. It went up, down, up, down, up, down. The number of times that it changed, you know, when we saw the KKR finishing, we thought that was too much.
Yes.
Then the first 10 overs, you saw Bangalore dominate, and the way Will Jacks batted 12.5 in the night. I mean, they scored 107 runs in that period. So, you know, you've seen a match where one team was dominating, and then Sunil Narine comes back, Andre Russell comes back. Those 2 overs, you know, between the 2 of them, 4 wickets down, that seemed to be the game. And then again, there was a twist at the end. Lots of little things will stand out for you. One is the fact that Dinesh Karthik, DK in the last over, 3 singles. Yes. He turned down 3 singles. If you look at what Karan Sharma did with the bat, you'll have to ask yourself whether he should have turned down those signals. And then, of course, Stark bowling like he did and getting smashed all over the place. So, lots of ways in which, you know, each team was very close. Both teams looked as if they could win it. Both teams looked as if they would lose it for themselves. Finally, it was the team that stumbled more.
Yes.
Bangalore who lost, absolutely.
You know, Simon, why I asked whether KKR won or RCB lost is because both the star players went. A controversial decision with Virat, let's say that. With both of you all agree that it was out, but Faf got out, Virat got out, and then we saw what Will Jacks did. But they were 137 for 2 at the 11th over. From there to go and lose the game, you know, who would have imagined that that's going to happen?
Well, that's your game to lose from that point on. But there was some average dismissals. Cameron Green's dismissal, really disappointing. Probably Desai was okay. Lomraw, little leading edge back. And then sort of it got to that back end with DK and Karan Sharma. But when Will Jacks and Rajat Patidar were both going, it was Bangalore's game.
Yes.
They'd taken the game away after those 2 crucial blows of the skipper and of Virat. Then it was Bangalore's game. And you just sort of thought, wow, they're going to cruise to victory here. But wickets. And Andre Russell, again, we talked a little bit about his fitness levels and his willingness to want to bowl more now and be involved in the game more. His bowling is a real strength at the moment. And the fact that he's bowling quick, he's actually fit, and really healthy, it makes a big difference to that Kolkata lineup when he's able to do that, because he's a genuine wicket taker. You know, he might be expensive at times, but he's a genuine. He bowls wicket-taking deliveries and hits the bat hard. And you know, he produced the goods tonight with the ball for them when they were in trouble. They were in a lot of trouble. You know, Bangalore were cruising, and he came in and produced the goods.
In fact, you know, we were there at the com box, and I remember you saying 90-10, and I said no, it's closer to 70-30. And then we were recording a blog and, you know, the mics off. By the time I came out, there were 4 wickets down.
Yeah, it was a combox curse which went a little delayed. That's what happened. I think it was because you were still in that chair, Joyita. It was in that combox chair doing some other work.
Yeah.
So, you know.
But that's the thing. That's how it changed. And it must be so frustrating for Bangalore, because 2 middle-order batsmen, 3 and 4, have taken it for you, have got to the match by the scruff of its neck, and then they've given it up. And I think you have to ask yourself, there is some very questionable decision-making in the batting in that period. Between the batters between 4 and 8, there were some terrible decisions made.
Yeah.
I mean, I know we might be jumping the gun a bit here, but I'd like to see Bangalore, I think they're going to be out of it. I'd like to see them make a change and get Will Jacks at the top. Look to next year, get Will Jacks to open the batting.
And Faf Wonder?
And Faf at 3. If they're looking to move forward to next year, because I would say that, you know, I mean, if Glenn Maxwell's issues continue, he might be a risk. They might look to free up some money with Green, you know, and they might look to keep Will Jacks and have him open the batting. And I think he and Virat at the top and Faf at 3. That's how I would rather see it go, because he's a genuine opener. I mean, he and Phil Salt for England are just, you know, next level power. And I just feel that that's his spot. With the 2 fielders out only, I just think moving forward, I'd like to see them make that change if they're looking forward to finishing off this season and moving forward to next year. Yeah,
I totally agree. In fact, I would say that turn around and say, now you're going to do Project 2025. I mean, you shouldn't be looking at 24 again, because right now, give players a chance, see what you can develop, see whether you can shock a few teams. Because, you know, really, you've thrown the kitchen sink at stuff and it hasn't worked for you.
It's a mega auction, isn't it? We don't know the retention basis or all that sort of stuff. But I'd also like to see more retentions, because you have to be able to build a franchise around some players. So I don't like a lot of players going back into the auction. I'd like to see at least, you know, 3 overseas and 4 local players being allowed to be kept, because you have to still build a franchise around players and allow the fans to get to know some of the players that stay at the clubs. You know, so that we're not sure on the retention basis, but I'd like to see something a bit like that as well.
Well, you spoke about Will Jacks, but, you know, Simon, you've also spoken about how the RCB bowling's been the major concern.
Yeah.
I think Mohammad Siraj has already gone out and put in like this heartbreak emoticon, and we could see how much this meant for Virat. So you can see the moods in the camp, but next year there'll have to really be a big shuffle around to even focus on getting bigger bowlers, maybe.
Well, yeah, I mean, if they free up some money, either free up the money of Maxwell or of Green, and go in search of some genuine bowlers. I think that, you know, all due respect to Alzari, Joseph, Lockie Ferguson, they're not your high quality international bowler. They're very good bowlers, but they're not right at the top of the game. They're not the guys you're paying sort of top dollar for, you know, $1.5 to $2 million US. So free up quite a bit of money and go hard for an overseas high-quality pace bowler, and then build an attack around Siraj, and what they've got there at the moment as well, and maybe a local player.
Also, you have to ask yourself, Faf is very fit, very good, but he's 38 years old.
Yeah.
And you've got to look at that and say, what does Faf want to do? I think forget everything else.
Yeah.
If Faf commits to saying that, you know, I can play 3 more years, he's fit enough to do it. Is he playing international cricket?
No, he has come out and said that he is available or would consider going to the T20 World Cup, I think. But yeah, you're right. I mean, you know, if you're looking at a mega auction, you're buying for 3 years.
Yeah, you're buying for 3 years.
So is he the best option for 3 years? Do they need to go in search of another captain?
And I can tell you one thing, pure experience just in terms of seeing IPL teams, any player who's not playing international cricket, their ability to remain fit continuously degrades.
Yeah, fitness is another thing, isn't it? But match fitness is what you're saying, yeah.
Yeah, I'm saying
absolutely, match fitness, because you're just not facing that high quality bowling time and time again. So they just got some, I know we're looking forward to next year already with them, which is sad for RCB fans.
No, I mean, just to remind RCB fans, we've moved on to next year. We'll have a look at the points table because we started the day saying that this was a must-win for Bengaluru. Now their faith is in the hands of all the other teams, Joyda, because even if they win everything, if they win 6 and 6, it still depends on what and how other. It's very mathematical.
It's tough. See, what happens is when you had 8 teams, then going through with 7 used to happen on a fairly regular basis. Teams would end up, 2 teams on 7 and run rate would make a difference.
Yeah.
If you have 4 and 10, then 7 is very difficult unless, as Simon was saying, Rajasthan, Kolkata, 2 teams run away with 11, 12 wins and the rest of teams, therefore, they come much further down. Therefore, your 4th team sneaks in with 7.
Well, you're asking, it's hard to see 1, 2 and 3 at the moment. It's hard to see all 3 of those teams not getting 3 wins in their last 7 games.
Absolutely.
So if you think about that from a table point of view right now, Rajasthan, Kolkata, Hyderabad, you would think that they will all be able to win 3 of their last 7, at least, which gives them 16 points.
Yeah.
So that's 2 more than RCB can get. So then they have to rely on Chennai, Lucknow, Gujarat and Mumbai.
Not one of them
not one of them teams getting to 14 points or 16. Not one of them teams getting to 16 points. So it becomes it's an impossibility. I don't want to. The statisticians will tell me they can still make it.
Yes.
But yeah,
chances of them making it are very, very slim.
It's a nice word for it. It's called infinitesimal.
Yeah.
Well, KKR got those 2 points, Joyda, today, but it is a major concern for them because again a 200+ score, again it going to the last ball. Stark, was paid so much money, their gun bowler just not coming to the party.
I think Stark is going to take it. I mean, they're going to rest Stark.
But get who in?
They have the Shamira, they have Chetan Sakaria, they have options. But I think Stark, even for his sake, I think he needs to clear his head. There's a lot of pressure on him. Just put him away, let him rest for a couple of days. Because I think the first over still going for that many runs, it happened. But the kind of lengths that he bowled in the final over would really worry the coaches, the staff, saying that, that kind of length, for ability with that pace, if you need to ramp it up and the ball's going to go for 6. So the kind of lengths he bowled gave them the opportunity to come back to the game.
Yes.
And the fact that he held a great catch and it changed the match back in their favour can't take away from the fact that it shouldn't have been a situation where the match was at risk. With 21 runs to score, it shouldn't have been like that.
You don't see him missing those Yorkers like that. It's just not at the back end of an innings, whether it be 50 over cricket or T20. You very rarely see him missing Yorkers by that much.
Yes.
And he dished up 3 pretty average half volleys. And that's just not Mitchell Stark. That's not what he does. So maybe he does need to just get away and clear his head a little bit and give him a game off. It might only be 1 game off. It might just be 1 game just to get himself back into something. And he might be struggling with everything as well. And we've talked about the price tag on his head, all of those things that start to play on your mind. And there are high quality batters out there taking to him, but Karan Sharma's not in that category.
Exactly.
I don't think he's a good low order hitter, but Mitchell Stark should be eating him up at the tail end really. So he'll be feeling it, even though they've won.
Yes.
And there was some high fives. I think he'll still be feeling the pressure.
But someone who did rescue KKR today, in spite of Stark having yet another off day, was Andy Russ, because he didn't really get going with the bat, but he's got 3 wickets in his 3 overs for just 25. So a very, very valuable contribution.
No, absolutely. Patidar and Will Jacks, he is the guy who changed the match. And that is one thing that, a lot of people see this bluff, really athletic West Indian and think, oh, he's a calypso cricketer, he plays. He's a thinking cricketer. He's a very smart cricketer. Today, notice he didn't choose to slog. He understood the surface and knew that he couldn't do it. And he just played exactly the needs of the hour. Similarly with the bowling, he came in a crucial situation, bowled those match-winning deliveries, bowled those wicket-taking deliveries. That is the one thing that it's just so easy for everyone to say, oh yeah, he's natural talent. He's not just natural talent. He's one of the sharpest T20 cricketers in the world. He plays around the world. He assesses situations fantastically. He's captain Jamaica. He's a smart cricketer. And really all that experience showed today.
And also, Simon, just like he said, very intelligent bowling. He was taking the pace off the ball and he was mixing in those variations very beautifully.
Yeah, and that's what he does. I mean, he bowls the cross seamers, the cutters. He's got a good heavy bouncer, uses it when he has to. His Yorker, because it can be a little bit slingy, but it's at good pace. And when Andre Russell's bowling, in the late 130s, early 140s, he's a very difficult bowler to get away because it's a heavy ball. It's a ball that hits you before you sort of realise it, because he just kind of strolls up to the crease.
Exactly.
And so and all of a sudden he unleashes with all that power. And it can sometimes be a little bit hard to pick up, a little bit hard to see or to get away. And when he's bowling, he just gives Kolkata such better options. He becomes, if he's a genuine bowling option for 3-4 overs, they've just got so much better options in their lineup. And I mean, they brought Shreyas in, and we thought he'd do better on that surface. Narine and Chakravarti were both very tidy, and you're thinking 222 chase. They've gone for 36 and 34, so they're doing well under the required rate. No issues with that. Harshit Rana was exceptional, and I thought Shreyas would be better on this surface, but he just seems to have gone off the boil a little bit since last year as well when they've played him.
I think that's what you drop him for 2-3 matches. It's playing on his head.
Yeah.
He's trying to come back. And you remember when he came back, Patidar and Jacks were just collaring the bowling.
Yes.
Yeah.
So they were confident. He was a bit on the back foot.
Yeah.
They were relieved to get away from Narine and Chakravarti.
Yeah.
So they went after him. Couple of shots hit and, a couple of sixes, and then immediately you're looking around, you're wondering where the next ball will go.
Yeah.
So I think it's tough on this young kid. He's still a very talented kid. He's still going to be an option going forward.
Yes.
He and Anukul Roy are going to be big options moving forward. What Kolkata need is now somebody to, Dushmanta Chamira comes to the party. Somebody comes to the party. Maybe Stark comes back after a couple of, matches off and, comes with a different mindset. They just need to solve one or two pieces. But unlike a lot of the other teams, they don't have 5 things to solve. They have a couple of things to solve.
Yeah, I mean, they've got Sakaria as well. So, Chetan Sakaria. So, he could come in, and they've got, who are their other international options? Shafane Rutherford.
Shamira, yes.
Yeah, but I'm thinking if they wanted to bring another batter in and use Sakaria as a local bowler, they've got options there if they wanted to.
Yeah, but they have enough batting.
They have enough batting,
They have enough batting. That's the thing.
Well, it was a nail-biting finish, the least to say. Like Joyda said, KKR probably has just 1 or 2 issues that they need to sort out. But there's one team which looks like they have no issues to sort out. They play tomorrow. Rajasthan take on MI. This is match number 38 happening at Jaipur. And Joyda, you said, how KKR need to sort out a few things. With Rajasthan, they just seem to have ticked all the correct boxes. It was a nail-biter, the last match. Josh Butler getting another 100, getting them across the finish line. So they just seem to have ticked everything. Maybe Yashasvi coming back into form is all that they're looking for.
Absolutely. But I think this is a huge match. And the reason I feel it's a huge match is that no matter what anyone says, the team that a lot of people are scared of is Mumbai. Because Mumbai is stacked. It's a stacked team in the batting. It's got Bumrah in the bowling.
Yes.
Okay. Now, if Mumbai start going on a roll, they're a very dangerous team. Okay. Rajasthan is thinking if they can knock one more match off, they're 3 and 5.
14 safe.
Yes, they are safe, and Mumbai looks a bit dodgy. Nobody wants to face Mumbai in that top 4 because they have the firepower. There's no doubt about it in anyone's head. It's just that all the pieces are not fitting. It's like a Lego set which the pieces are not exactly fitting.
Yeah.
But the moment they fit together, that's a devastating outfit. So it's important. I think what Rajasthan will try and do is put them away early. Try and finish this match early, put them away early, because if they do, it's a threat not just for tomorrow, but for the future.
Correct. We'll have a look at Rajasthan's squad first. They, again, haven't chopped and changed things too much. So, Simon, they will go ahead with the same playing 11, you think?
Yeah, I mean, you talked about Yashasvi. He's probably the concern along with Dhruv Jurel, just a little bit. But you can deal with that when you're winning. When you're winning games, you can carry players through and allow them to find some form. They've used their impact substitute really well with Rodman Powell sort of sitting out now and then, waiting to bat. So they've used that option very well. Generally started with 3 overseas only, 2 gun spinners in Ashwin and Chahal. Avesh has done a great job, I think, along with Trent Bolt. Riyan Parag has been the star of the season as far as that middle order batting is concerned. Finishes with Hetmeyer, Butler with a couple of hundreds. They've got a lot of boxes ticked. But as I said, Dhruv Jurel and Yashasvi, about the only two things they'd like to get more from.
Yes.
But when you're winning, it's okay.
Also tomorrow, because they're playing at Jaipur, there's a good chance that the one swap that they might think about is Keshav Maharaj for Roman Powell. Because you get the extra spinner in, it might bother them. Large, it's a big ground.
Big ground.
Maharaj is a good bowler, good international bowler, can bat also. So, he gives them a little bit more protection. So, let's see how that game goes. It'll also be what pitch they're playing on. If they think that pitch that resists spin a bit. And against this kind of a Mumbai batting, they might like to go with spin a bit more, have a surface that turns a bit. That's the kind of thing that would bother Mumbai a little bit more than the other way. So I think that was the only change that they'll be looking at and hoping or waiting on, say, Jurel and Jaiswal to come to form.
Well, like Joyda spoke about Mumbai and that it's a team that not too many people in the top want to face. So when the batting gets going, it is just very difficult to play Mumbai. And then they have Bumrah. But Simon, in the last match, which was quite a nail-biter, it was Hardik, the captain, looking around at who to go to with the ball because it was only Bumrah and none of the bowlers. Koitse has been getting wickets, but he's been leaking a lot of runs. So the bowling clearly is an issue for Mumbai.
Yeah, it is. And that sort of fifth, sixth bowling option has been expensive, whether it be Hardik himself, whether it be Romario Shepherd. Do they stick with Shreyas Gopal? I think Nuwan Tussara deserves a crack. And maybe rest Kutsia. I know they like him. Rest him for a game, give Tussara a crack and just see whether he can do something. He's a very skillful bowler, Nuwan Tussara. So there's that option there. But that batting when you look through it, there is just power.
Yes.
There's power from 1 to 7, 8. I mean, Nabi, there's no issue there. He's coming in at 8 at times. So they are a side that is frightening. So Rajasthan can do the rest of the table a favour.
Huge favour. That's exactly
and not only themselves, but do the rest of the table a bit of a favour as well. You're a fool if you count Mumbai out. From this position, with that side, you're a fool if you count them out because they can just take the game away from sides.
But Joyda, it's just that MI fans fear that Bumrah should never have an off day because he's been outstanding so far. But the day Bumrah has an off day, we know what the batting unit can do for MI. But it's the bowling. If Bumrah has an off day, then what?
The bowling will struggle. But I think on a pitch like tomorrow, if they're playing in Jaipur, I think Nabi will give them 3 or 4 overs definitely. So that saves a bit of their issues because they really have a genuine issue with getting quality spin on board. They need a couple of more bowlers to come to the party. And really, you're looking up that Mafaka, young Mafaka, they started off with him, but he went for runs. I think either him or Tushara, you've got to give them a shot at some point in time. I don't know whether tomorrow is the day, but I think at some point they need they need to come in because this bowling is their only Achilles heel. There's no doubt about the batting.
Okay, so your players to watch out for then for tomorrow?
I still want to see Tilak Varma continue to sort of just progress. I think he's a stylish player. He becomes an option to bowl a couple of overs too at times. He's more than useful. So for Mumbai, I look at him. I just want him to continue to perform because I really like the look of him.
For Mumbai, Ishan Kishan, because also, I'm looking at...
Yes, the boarding pass.
I am looking at the boarding pass. I think he's a kind of batter who sort of gives them a real fillip if he goes hard up front. And I'd like him to do that tomorrow.
And for Rajasthan?
For Rajasthan, well, wickets in the first over. They're the key, aren't they? Ishan Kishan nicked off second ball, Trent Bolt.
He's calling about predictions.
He's calling it.
He's calling it.
Give me a point on the table if I get that right.
I think let's record that.
That's right. No, it's all there for everyone to listen and watch. For you, Rajasthan.
He's Yuzvendra Chahal. I mean, he's just such a class act. And just look, he can't get a pilot's license in the next 3 months. But what else can he get onto that plane?
If there was anyone in this country playing cricket at the moment who was smart enough to get a pilot's license, I reckon it's him.
Yeah, it is
he played just for the country.
Exactly. I reckon it's him. He could probably pass the test.
Well, we don't know what he can do. And it's just, he's such a class player, but he's just performing so well. But never know what he can do. Joyda, it's that time where I feel a little proud because I, without seeing Twitter, had gotten the answer. So let's have a look at Mr. Bhattacharya's question for the day.
Started his ODI career with the duck, his test career with the ton, got his century in his 100th ODI, also was man of the match in his first test, got it the fastest test century on debut ever. And the answer is, I'll give it to you, all
Shikhar
yours.
Dhawan?
It is Shikhar Dhawan. Of
Yes.
course, it's Shikhar Dhawan. Good one.
Like I said, the clue was in he's been there from inception in the IPL, so it wasn't very difficult to get that. Simon, did you try at all?
I didn't actually try, but there's, how many did you say, 6 or 7 players?
7.
Yeah.
7 players only. So
You didn't try because you were too busy winning today.
Absolutely.
Your focus was somewhere else.
It was actually.
Yeah?
Yeah, my focus is on that leaderboard. I
Yeah.
mean, I've got a big week. I've got, a double header today, and I've got 6 nights of the next, or 7 nights of the next 8. So I've got a lot of guessing to be done in the next week.
We have to see who got Mr. Bhattacharya's answer right besides me. For the first time, Goku Sama gets the answer right. Joyda, new name, one of your
Goku,
ideas?
I haven't seen, no.
No, he hasn't seen it. Well done, Goku. Hope we keep seeing your name coming in more often. And now for what you've been waiting for all day.
The leaderboard.
The leaderboard. Drum
Yes,
roll.
drum roll.
Oh dear.
Oh.
I have slipped down and how?
Oh, Sammy.
Oh, GK.
I'm only just behind Virendra Sehwag.
Joyda, where are you?
I'm at least on the left, right
Oh,
now.
you're all in the left side.
Okay.
Well done.
All right.
There is improvement for everyone besides me.
So, GK knows you cannot win it without a bullseye. So,
Oh.
yeah.
3 bullseyes.
Yeah, well,
Are
that's the easy part, isn't it? I don't know why.
Oh,
Did you have any bullseyes? Or did you? I didn't see.
It's
a
all right.
bullseye.
Enough of the prediction for today.
Right.
Enough of it.
Cool.
You know.
No worries.
But well done on the 3 bullseyes. That's quite fantastic, Simon. It's been not a great day for me, for RCB. Just not one of those days we want to remember. But I will remember it because I had great company. Thank you very much.
In case you ever have a professional cricket team, try not to use red.
I won't. I will. But I don't even think I can be green. It can't be red. So I don't know. I guess red is not what it is. We listened to the expert Joyda. Simon, Joyda, thank you so much for
Thank you.
making this Sunday not feel long at all. Any amount of time with you all feels less. So thank you very much. And thank you to all of you who have been watching. It's been a super Sunday and we will have a super Monday tomorrow. We'll be seeing you all at 7 p.m. So don't forget to join in. That's all for now. Good night and goodbye.
Jaipur via Kota.
कृपया ध्यान आपो अहमदाबाद
दिल्ली में आपका स्वागत
ನಿಲ್ದಾಣದ ಕಡೆಗೆ ಹೊರಟಿರುವರೆ
Hyderabad 50 Express পরবর্তী স্টেশন নেতাজি ভবন। कृपया ध्यान दें